Good morning, students of class 8. Welcome to history class. We are reading chapter 5, Coming of the Europeans, Foundation of Mughal Empire, Its Rise and Fall. Our lesson for today is section 5.8, Supremacy of the English in Bengal, Farquhar Farman, 1717. Now, in the last class, we discussed about the reasons for which Mughal Empire came to an end in the land of India. And one of the reasons was the advent of English and their coming into power. So today we are focusing on the supremacy of English in Bengal. Now compared to the other parts of India, the English came late in Bengal for establishing their business settlements. The English East India Company established their first settlement at Hooghly in Bengal in 1651. From that time onwards, the English were steadily expanding their business in Bengal, pushing behind all other European traders. The most important European trader who was present in Bengal at that point of time was French. So they were English and French, they had this clash and they were pushing them out of Bengal. And English, you already know that initially they came to trade in India, but slowly they gained the political power over here. And this is how they were doing. In the 17th century, the two important events that helped the English traders to establish their supremacy in business as also to acquire political power were first, acquisition of Jamindari right of the three villages Kalikata, Sutanuti and Govindapur. They did this in 1698. Now you can see these places marked over here with red. Sutanuti, Kalikata and Govindapur, these three places are in Kolkata, as we can say for present day. So first they acquired this Jamindari right. And the next important thing was construction of a fort in Kalikata in 1696. The fort was later named into Fort William in 1700. In fact, the English company needed power for safety and protection of the huge amount of money that it had invested in Bengal. And for that thing, for safety and protection, they built this fort. So that is the old picture, or we can say the painting of Fort William. But these two are the recent pictures of Fort William. So, and by the acquisition of Jamindari right, the English entered into the political arena of Bengal. For the English East India Company now, like any other zamindar, started conducting the Jamindari administration. This at least gave English a legal footing. That means they got the legal right to trade and acquire some political power in Calcutta, in the then Calcutta and areas of Bengal. But even these concessions could not satisfy the English. They wanted to have more power. They were frantically trying to extend territories beyond the three villages, that is Kalikata, Sutanuti and Govindapur. They wanted to extend their territory. They had the Jamindari right in these three territories, but they wanted to extend their power. However, Murshid Quli Khan, the then Nawab of Bengal, resisted these moves of the English, at least temporarily. So this is the man who resisted their extension. English, they desired to acquire more land, but Murshid Quli Khan, he was Nawab of Bengal at that point of time. He did not want them to extend their territory, so he resisted that. However, John Surman's embassy to the Mughal Emperor Farrukh Shah was an important event in the history of the expansion of trade and influence of the East India Company in India. So, this man, Farrukh Shah, was the Mughal emperor at that point of time, and John Surman, on behalf of the company, paid visit to the court of Delhi to Farrukh Shah, and Farrukh Shah, he complying with all their requests, issued a farman, that is a royal order, by which some concessions were granted to the English. So, John Surman, he came to Farrukh Shah's court and requested him to grant some concessions so that English East India Company can carry on their trade properly in this land of Bengal and other territories of India. And Farrukh Shah, he granted those concessions in the form of a farman, or which we can say royal order. So Farrukh Shah's farman of 1717 relating to the Shubha or the territory of Bengal, including the privileges listed below. So these are the privileges that were given to them. First of all, right of duty free trade in Bengal, Bihar, Orissa. So they can do the trade without paying the tax, but they have to pay an annual payment of rupees 3000. Permission to purchase 38 new villages around the three villages, Kalikata, Sutanati and Govindapur. Around these villages, they could buy or they could purchase 38 new villages. He gave that permission. Free movement of goods on the strength of dastak to be issued by the company's authority. The rights secured by the farman greatly furthered the interest of English in Bengal. So, they can move their goods, the things that they are dealing with, from one place to another without giving any tax. This all concessions were given to them by Farrukh Shah. And this farman, this gave English East India Company to hold a very secure position in Bengal. Not only that, the farman paved the way for company's supremacy both in trade and politics in the whole of India. So that is very important thing. This farman of Farrukh Shah, in which was issued in 1717, hold a very important position. Why? Because it gave English East India Company not only the trading power, but it also gave it the political stronghold in the land of Bengal. So that was all for today. What you have to do now is open this section from your book and read it and see whether you have any problem understanding it or not. If you have any problem, you can send your query at the given mail ID. Thank you.